Greetings to all our listeners. Welcome to the Empowerment Podcast. This is the second season of the show, or the second season of the whole podcast. Welcome once again. You'd remember that we just recently took a break with the whole team for about 2 weeks. We didn't release a lot of content. We just had a break, a moment of, a short sabbatical for ourselves, just to recap, re-establish and refocus ourselves into what we're doing, and we are ready. We're back with more content and more great episodes for you. So today I have a guest, and I'm excited. It is June as we're recording this. It is Youth Month, celebrated in South Africa. It is Youth Month. And I decided, let me open up the show again with a young person who's not a stranger to the podcast, whom we've had before, and a lot of our viewers really enjoyed the episode that we did with her. So I was like, let me bring her along because I've seen that there's a lot happening around her recently. There's a lot that she has been doing, and I'd love to get to know about it. And we did promise, after we've done that last episode we did with her, we did promise that we'll be bringing her once again, and we'll be talking a bit more. And at the time, she was releasing a book, a journal, in fact, we did promise that we'll be getting to talk even about it on our second episode. So we'll try to squeeze that in what we'll be talking about today. So before we go any further, help me welcome my guest, Nondumiso Mhlongo. Hey, sis.
Mhlongo, Bram, Mhlongo.
How are you?
No, I'm good. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm very blessed. I am sustained. I am living a good life.
Mm,
Yes. Amen.
yeah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. It's been a minute. It's been
Yeah,
a
no, it
minute.
really has. It really has. Life is very interesting. It's
Mm,
very life is a very interesting journey because like it's as if in every bits and piece of your journey day by day, you just meet different encounters and you have to just get yourself past it. And as you get past it, the people who were there at the back, they will find you there in front. And then it's like, oh, hey, you're here. Oh,
yeah.
welcome. And then this is us coming back together 4 months later. So
Yeah,
we've
yeah.
we've both gone the journey. Yeah.
Um, yeah. Thank you for that. Today we have prepared a conversation around being young and saved. Specifically, as I said in the intro, that it is Youth Month. We'll be just looking at a young person's journey uh, with Christ. Um, and as I said, I've invited Nondumiso to help us with that. But most of all, she'll be exploring, or she'll be sharing her own personal experience and her own journey with Christ. Maybe let's get into it. How did you get to know of Christ? Maybe tell us of the intro, you being introduced to the gospel. How did that start?
Okay. Um, you know what I like about myself is that I tend to respond to things in a very different way.
Mm,
So just bear with my response also. So there are two parts of the response I want to give. The first part is growing up as a child, right? You know when scripture says, teach a child in a manner in which they should live,
mm,
in terms of Christianity and the Bible, and fortunately I had that advantage, right,
mm,
of being grown up or being raised in a society or in a household Christian community of people who were Christ mind like, and people who
mm,
were saved within the Christ community. And as you grow as a child, that becomes a reality for you, like, okay, this is what you're seeing, and this is the manner in which you need to live, because at home that's what is being preached. At home, that is what is being spoken about. And as a child, you at some point just grow to that, right?
yeah.
But for me, in as much as I am a PK, pastor's kid, you know. I mean, a lot of people have this stigma around, ooh, pastors' kids are the worst, ooh, pastors' kids, this is that. I'm sorry, I don't relate. I'm sorry, I don't relate.
Um,
um I just grew up as this child, being raised in, in that community, like I said. And for me, I just grew up with that. And but for me also, it was a personal decision to say, okay, I see that there's this scripture that is being preached and there's this Christ that is being preached,
um,
but I want to know him for myself,
hey,
and I believe that, I don't know, the power or the spirit or the purpose of God has always been in my life since I was young, you know,
mm,
but I've always been drawn to that. I've always been drawn to God. I've always been drawn to, living in a way that I've been taught. I've always been drawn to that. And for me, yeah, that's just me, right? So that has really helped me in my
yeah,
life as and growing up as a young girl,
mm,
child, But later in life, I got to understand Christ for myself in a deeper, much deeper context. But I think that's something that it will be explored more in the rest of the questions. But
mm,
I've gotten to a level of reaching a very high level of a Christ consciousness and understanding who Christ is for myself and what actually being saved really means on the fact that it has already been done and salvation is now a personal mission within
yeah.
Christ. Yeah.
Mm. I love that. I love that. One thing a lot of people don't know about me is that I'm also a PK, and I like that they don't know that. It's a good advantage that they don't know. Because of one reason, the stigma that comes with it, that you just talked about. It's easier to be like, oh, okay, typical,
Yeah.
you know. Uh, and when you're talking about that, as much as this thing you are grown into it, you see your parents doing it in a daily preaching, you know, you reach a point where you take a personal decision now, where it's like, okay, I get it, you're doing it, but now I personally understand it and I see it as a best choice even for myself also. And that for me, when you said that, you just took me back, straight away back. Like, yeah. That's exactly
Yeah.
how it also happened with me. That I I found myself having to take that decision for me, not to help, not to please my parent, not to do what is seemed good for them, but also what I also saw good and how I
Yeah.
understood the gospel and the importance of having Jesus in my life. So when
Yeah.
yeah, when you said that, it like, yeah, that's how I know it's also.
Yes, that's how it is. That's how it is. That's how it is.
And it's it's really interesting. But now going to my follow-up question from that is that now, how has your relationship with God impacted your decisions and choices?
Um, so let's take it back also to, growing up, right? You grow up with a pattern that in your journey, this is how you need to see God.
Hmm,
God first, right?
hmm,
Because we are a creation of God. So later on in my life, I got to understand why, as a young person, I've always heard these words: God first, put God first in everything that you do in your life. And how that has impacted my decisions, right?
hmm,
It's knowing who God is in my life and understanding what God's purpose is for my life and how I understand God and how I relate with God and even everyone else around me, you know. So growing up with that foundation, growing up with the fact that you need to put God before you implement a certain project or implement a certain decision, you need to first step into a higher power, because you are just, an earthly being. You know, in as much as you're a spiritual being, you need to step into that spiritual power that is within you, right? Which is the source of God. So I'm grateful to have learned that in my life, that before you enter into any decision, you need to step into the source that will provide every type of a solution. Because many a times we think that, you know, when there is a problem to something, we're gonna try to, you know, ask people, as a same human being who is just like you're gonna go and ask them how to solve your own problems. Uguti, where now you were created from a certain higher power and a certain source that you can literally draw from. So
mm,
I am grateful that I had those basic principles in my life, which I apply till date. You know, and whenever I'm faced with any decision that I need to make, believe you me, child, I'm just gonna go pray. I'm gonna go sit down and meditate. I'm gonna go sit down and listen to what the Spirit of God is saying.
mm,
Listen to my inner thoughts. Just listen to my entire being, you know, in and ask for guidance from the spiritual source, which is God. And that
mm,
is when clarity comes, because also clarity comes when you are in stillness. Clarity
mm,
comes when you are in a moment of, you know what, let me just sit down, let me let go of every distraction, let me just come into my space, and let me just connect with my being, my spirit, which is my higher power. Let us connect. Let's have a conversation. That is so important. You know, I wish people could understand how important alone time is, or rather, we used to call it quiet time, right? In our Christian community, quiet time is so important because that is where the essence of decision making comes in. So for me, that is what it is. That's what has impacted, you know, um, how I go about decisions and choices in my life. Okay, let me just maybe go into. Okay, I'm a young adult.
mm,
There are a lot of things going on out there, you know. Let's take. It's probably going to come later in the questions, but let's just take a stupid thing like someone calling you out for something to say, let's go there, and you know, but as a person who is spiritually connected, you first ask yourself, how is my spirit feeling about this? And it comes with the consistency of you connecting to your higher power, which is
mm,
God, right?
mm, mm,
So even when you are in that tight situation where you need to make a very quick decision because of pressure, maybe from people,
mm,
you are able to your spirit is able to immediately tap in and say, nope, this ain't good. And for me, I don't know, but I thank God that I am very much awakened to that. That when I can feel that something is not good, I'd rather withdraw. Or if I do not withdraw, I will pray while I am there. You know, whatever it is. But that's just basically the essence of it. Just being spiritually aligned.
mm. I like that. I like that because especially for us young people, I've noticed that there's this thing that we do. We sometimes separate our work life, our career life, our like the lives that we live outside of church. We sometimes
Mm-mm.
disconnect it with church or being who we are at church or being born again.
Yeah.
Let me put it like that. And by us disconnecting it, we then find it to be difficult to align the life we live outside with the life we live in church. And
Yeah.
then find ourselves at a position or at a point whereby the person we are outside and the person we are in church are two different people. Now, ending up living a life that is sort of like a hypocrisy. For example,
Mm-mm.
our Christian values and beliefs, we sometimes not keep them if we are at work because we are grinding, we are hustling, and we want to assimilate to the pattern of the world again because we are at work, we say. And we don't include God in our decision, as you just said, that in our daily lives, it's not just a thing that we do for Sunday, but it is a day, it's a lifestyle rather. It is who we are. We do not change because we are not at church and you are not in front of believers. And maybe I know you've answered the question. Maybe now going it in that perspective of us aligning our work life and us at church, marrying the two, being one.
Okay. Are you saying how do we
Yes.
still become the same person, but even in both settings, right?
Especially for you as a person who's also into business, how do you balance the two?
Yeah, that is a very interesting question. Um, how I can answer that for myself in a like, okay, this is a personal journey.
Yeah.
How I see it for me, it's I know who I am.
Mm,
I know the power that is within me. I know who I serve. I understand Christ. I understand Jesus Christ. I believe in Him. I believe in God. I believe in the source of God. I believe in all of that, right? And now, when we come into a workplace setting,
mm,
you you still need to maintain who you are, right? Um, Christ was a person of love, of compassion, of kindness, who just very compassionate person. And for me, I believe in a Christ-like character, maintained everywhere you go. It's not about being religious.
yeah.
Let's leave religion out of it. It is about character. It is about who you are. It is about how you maintain your Christ like persona, your Christ like identity. Whether you are at church, whether you are not at church, whether you are at Spanban's house or at this corporate office that believes in God, or that corporate office that believes in Muslim, in Muhammad, or wherever you are, you maintain yourself.
Mm,
So for me, I maintain who I am. I literally just maintain myself. If someone is going to come to me and say, I have a problem, believe you me, we will have a one-on-one. And by the time I have a one-on-one with you, I'm gonna tell you what it is. I'm just gonna say it as it is.
mm,
I'm gonna give you the source, which is God. That is who I am, right? You come to me in a situation whereby um, or someone else from church with a similar situation, I will respond to it the same way I will respond to it in a corporate setting, because I am still maintaining myself. I'm not pretending. I'm not going to pretend to be this holier than thou person at church. And then when I get to the workplace, I'm a different being, you know?
mm.
There needs to be consistency in
Oh,
character and behavior. And that is what one thing for me that is just so important. Yeah.
mm, mm. No, I like it. I like it, and it's true. I think consistency is one of the most important things, and consistency shows character, and it shows who you really are. And a
You
lot
know,
of
you know,
time, yeah, you can
I
come
just,
with.
I just there's something like there's a lot for me to say, but like I don't want to get into them because it would mean going too deep. It would mean
Let's go.
like probably like extending too much of the conversation, but um yeah, but I think maybe some parts of it would have to be cut out of the video. But like I sometimes feel like as Christians, or I don't know, yeah, or the society that is within the Christian community, it is that of pretense sometimes, as you said. And for me, I'm being honest, it doesn't make sense. Like, can't you just maintain, like, people also like condemning themselves. And like,
Mm,
let's actually get there.
mm,
People will condemn themselves because at church they are this, you know being holier than thou, maybe that's how they say it. I don't call it that. I'm very indifferent. I don't even care. Not like that, but like I'm just very indifferent about how people see things sometimes.
mm,
Um, but we condemn ourselves too much, and so much that when people are within the church, they it's pretense. It's no, I'm perfect.
mm,
But when they get into the other spaces of their world, they're comfortable being themselves.
mm.
And you ask yourself, and like, and who are you? Are
Mm.
you sure you know who you are? Are
Yeah.
you sure you even know Jesus? Are you sure you
Um,
know God?
mm,
Because if you're gonna be that type of a character, that type of a person, it means that you don't know who you are. And that means that you need to start getting into yourself, into a journey of self-discovery, into a journey of transforming your mind, in a journey of transforming yourself into a Christ consciousness and a Christ mindset,
mm.
and not into a religious context of life.
Yeah. No,
Yeah,
I
without
like
going too deep.
it. No, I really hear you, and it's true. I know of people, or I've met people who, when you come to their work and you're like, he's a Christian. I go,
Oh, I know.
I attend church with them, and they're like, who's a Christian? Him. And it's so puzzling sometimes, you know. It's really is puzzling as if that we we are not representing Christ in all of the places and all of the fields that he has placed us in. And we then go around Sundays claiming that Jesus is coming back, that we are his representative, we are made in his image and whatnot. Yet the daily work that is needed to be done by us being ourselves and us being his representative in a daily, we are not doing it properly. So for me, that's that's as you said it doesn't make sense.
Can I
That
ask you a question? Why do you think that is?
pardon?
Why do you think that is? Why do you think there's that
Um,
confusion?
I like that question. For me, there's an episode that we once did. I'm low-key now promoting the podcast, but there's an episode that we did that talks on discipleship. I think a lot of believers, because this episode is for young believers, for a lot of young believers, they have not been properly discipled. Because discipleship, it is when Christ has been made to be on a daily basis, where
Yeah.
it's not just you accepting him and it ends there and you go to church every Sunday and you pray every night before you go to sleep, but he is made practical. It is him being grown in you. There's a verse that says, Jesus grew in stature and in wisdom, and in favor with men and in favor with God. It is you growing in him. It is you becoming more mature. It is you becoming in his likeness. And as you're hearing me, I'm not saying it's you imitating him, it is you becoming. In other words, as you were saying, in every day, you're exposing who you are for him to consume you until you become the person that he has called you and the person that he wants you to be. So for me, what makes that it is the lack therefore of discipleship in a lot of people. But another thing is what you've touched on. The hypocrisy at church is way up recently. The hypocrisy and the imitating, it's way up. Hence, we're finding ourselves dealing with such things. But hey, I'm not the guest here. That was just since you've asked what my thoughts.
Ish, I have a response to that, but I don't want to get into it. But yeah, let's move forward.
You
You know
can
what? I
go.
feel like there are a lot of things that I know. There are a lot of things that I've become so aware of, and there are a lot of things that I'm just so nonchalant about. Like
Mm,
I'm just like,
mm,
okay, you know. And I
yeah.
don't know if maybe it comes with maturity, or it comes with spiritual awakening, or it comes with spiritual awareness. But for me, I think I'm in that journey. And the way I see, like, what you're talking about,
Mm,
for me, I just see human beings Bandla, human beings who are really just trying to understand this life sometimes. And in that, there's a lot of confusion. There's this one saying this, there's this one saying that, there's this one saying this. There's a lot of things being said, you know. But like you said, discipleship, that's maybe something that is really lacking within, our community, in terms of understanding that you are a human being, you are a person who needs to who has already been saved. You have already been saved. This life that you now have, it is now for you to live in your high level of enlightenment, in your high level of being, instead of always condemning yourself and saying, I did this, therefore I can never attain the grace of God, or because I did that, I will never do this. That is a lie from the pit of hell. That has already been gone. It's not there. What I've gotten to understand is that, what, life happens, situations, setbacks, all of these things happen. But for me, how I have understood Christ for myself, and me having the Christ identity and the Christ consciousness, is to say, whatever situation I'm in, it is well. It is well. It is well. And you know what? I get myself into that level of reflection and saying, you know what, God, I don't know what is going on right now, but I am tapping into a high level of enlightenment, a high level of saying that what I want to see, I can see it already. You tap yourself into a level of manifestation. If you look properly, that is what Christ did. Christ never succumbed. Christ was just sorry, I'll a bit. Okay. You froze a bit. You know, sorry. Whenever I read about Christ and I'm just like, this man, like, let's think about, for example, the story of the water. Like, such a chilled man, like the storm, sorry, yeah, the story of Jesus Christ in the storm. Such a chilled man. How, Christ, aren't you shaken by this? Like, can we just understand, like, get to understand these things in a practical sense? Uguti, if Christ, being a human being, as a person who was a earthly being, was like that, what am I supposed to learn from that? So I got to take that teaching, got to take that and be like at this point as it stands, like, no matter what I'm going through, yeah, I've gotten to understand that it is you put yourself at so much ease by just being at peace. Did you get that?
Yeah.
You put yourself at so much ease by just being at peace. Why do I say this? Because if you are going to allow yourself to be agitated and frustrated, what does it change? Here's a scenario. Here's a situation of the storm, right? The storm is there. Whether you like it or not, you can't control the fact that the storm is there.
Yeah.
So now what Christ is teaching us is that, Mina, I'm here. I'm bringing peace. Uguti, the storm is there, but I'm just gonna keep being at peace. And if you see even the practicality of life, the more you are at peace, the more something just moves with ease, But the more agitated and frustrated you become, it's like you intensify the storm to be even more. That is why Peter fell, and then there was all this thing that what happened.
Yeah.
So now, for me, I got to see in this journey, but no, man, it's a choice. Am I gonna choose to be frustrated, or am I gonna choose to be at ease? And honestly, I just choose this. Even when the storm says, "Come here," Mtana, I'd rather be in the middle. I'm just not coming here. So that's just what we just need to master.
Um.
I said that I spoke a lot.
No, don't worry. We called you for that. Um, Thank you for your answer. Um, I'd like us to continue. Um, how did or how has following Christ has shaped your identity and purpose? Yeah, in your journey and in your own perspective.
Yeah. Um, so I think it goes back to what I said initially.
Mm,
Raise a child in a manner in which they should live. Literally, you know what? I grew up in a family setting whereby every single day we had a family time of just praying together, just worshiping together, just being grateful for the day as a family together. Just always grew up into that type of a setup. So how has that, shaped my identity and purpose? Is in saying that, back to what I said again, that is me, that was in my nature, and also getting to know God and Christ for myself, right? it
mm,
it also got to position me into a point whereby I was like, you know what, I understand that there is so much to life, right? There is so much to the greatness of this source, who is God, that is out there. And there is a reason why this is something that I've discovered probably recently in my life. Like
mm,
there's a reason why we are said to follow this Christ identity so much.
mm,
And as you get to read about this Christ identity, you're like, ah, a very, very, very amazing identity, And that is literally what you want to strive for. That is just literally what you want to live for. You want to attain that, kingship, that priestship, and that is literally who we are. And Christ came to make us understand who we are. So it was in a point in my journey whereby I literally decided to tap into that. And I used the word decided intentionally because everything is a decision. So for
mm,
me,
mm,
allowing myself to be shaped in such a manner was a decision. For me, to allow myself to live a life of purpose
mm,
was a decision because of what I knew and what I decided to live by. What I was taught, for me, it felt good. So therefore, go by it. And you know, I don't know. For me, I've never had to believe in anything else but what I've had already been taught.
mm,
And in life's journey, right? And I'll tell you this for a fact. You go through a phase in life whereby you want to understand why other religions believe in what they believe in, what other people believe in, what they believe in, what makes your Christ so peculiar, what makes your belief so peculiar. We all go through that journey. And for me, my standing point was this one: Christ. To say, okay, this is what, this is how he was represented to me. And I just want to live my life tapping into that
mm,
that likeness. So in purpose, in me finding my purpose, in me understanding that I want to step into a purpose of, allowing people to understand that life is a journey, stepping into a purpose of understanding, of making people understand that you need to transform your mind in order for you to transform your entire world.
mm.
Your world, which is how you see life, your life's reality, how
True.
things in your life manifest, right? It all starts with inward change. It all starts with you changing your heart, how you your heart, because hey, sometimes our heart postures are the ones that literally derail us from life,
Yeah,
you know.
true.
And, your heart even comes in your face.
Mm.
You'll see a person who I love movie. It's not even their physical appearance that is ugly, it's their heart, you know. You get
Yeah.
to understand these things in life and you're like, nope, I don't want that. I'm the type of person, I would see
Mm,
something, or I promise you, like I think I see this all the time. Like I would see a person, I'm like, you know what, Sisi Omuhle, features wise,
mm,
Mara, because of this, Your appearance is different. So that is what I am saying, to say that Christ consciousness, transformation, inward transformation
mm,
that comes into the outside. You know,
mm,
I was reading about the transfiguration of Christ today, and that is where light is. We are literally the light of the world. You know, you cannot be the light if ama features work of physical emotion, ne?
mm,
Mara, because life is so spiritual,
mm.
the inside of you reflects so much in your outside. That is why when people come to someone and say, "Oh, oh, you look like such an amazing person. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh, you're so this and this and that," it shows what is in the inside.
Yeah.
But if someone's gonna say the opposite of that to somebody else, it already,
Mm.
in here. But
True.
anyway,
True.
I hope I answered parts of your
No,
question before I get ahead of myself.
definitely. You answered a lot. Mm. Last time we had a conversation with you, you were about to release your journal. We were very close to the release date. So we didn't get to know a lot about it because also we were also trying to get people to come to the launch. Maybe tell us a bit about that. How did that go? What did you even learn about from releasing that journal? And where is it now? Can people still get it?
Okay, so let me start by saying life is a journey again, which goes back to the essence of the book and the essence of what my brand is all about. So the name of the book is An Adventure Guide to Consistency,
Hmm,
right? How to be consistent across every area of your life. Um, Life is an adventure, you know. The day for me that became a reality, I was like, life really is a path just filled with just so many things. There's
hmm,
just a lot of experiences to learn, and one just needs to be in their lane because it is
hmm,
your journey. In as much as there are many streets to a certain destination, doesn't mean that all of us need to be on the same road to get
hmm,
there. We are all in different roads, all in different paths, all in different missions.
hmm.
And as I got to growing, I was like, no, man. I'm a very curious person, Lunga. I'm a very curious person. I reason. I think God knows. Like, I don't know. Maybe that's why things accelerate in my life. I don't know, because I'm very curious,
Yeah,
and I will not shy away from asking questions.
yeah.
And and so when I looked at life being like that, an adventurous journey to self discovery,
Hmm,
you know, because continuously you're on a journey of figuring out who am I. You
hmm.
know, in church, yes, we are told that yeah, you're a child of God. Yeah, you are the head. You are not the tail. Tell me, who am I? You know, sorry for being that aggressive, but who am I? And that is a journey that one has to step into. That is a journey
Yeah.
that one has to go into intentionally. That is a journey of one having to step into their inner selves, because I won't lie, in the church, in Christian communities, religious community, let me just be generic.
Hmm,
It is just being like, yeah, this is what you just need to know, and that is it. Know nothing about yourself, but just know everything about this, which is good. But there's the part that is missing, where it's saying, where now God is putting me, where God has now positioned me into this purpose. For me, my everything that I do in my life, it is God ordained, it is God purposed. And however way I go about it, for me, I will say it, God wanted it to be like that.
yeah.
Whether you will come and tell me that no, you're not doing this, I don't care what you say. Anyway, um, so so God getting me into this purpose and into this alignment of of being that voice of hope and resilience, of saying that this life really is a journey, and it's gonna have its ups and downs. It's gonna have its moments of uphills, inclines, and downhills. And but what is important is to remain in that ease. that we spoke about, is to
Yeah.
remain in that, to be consistent in that, because hey, whether you like it or not, it's there. But mastering self, mastering the Christ-like character, for
Mm.
me, it just sells it, and it's a journey. That alone is a journey.
Mm.
So me having the hiking experiences got me to understand this even in a deeper sense, whereby I would even go through hiking experiences,
Mm.
and I'm very observant as well. And I would go with people and I would see, oh, okay, I mean, I'm very athletic. So I don't mind 8 kilometers, we can go. 13, 15, we can go hiking and I won't complain. But then you see other people maybe who are not physically as fit as you are,
Mm.
and you have to just have to help them throughout
Yeah.
the whole mountain climbing up and
Yeah.
stuff. And that's where you get to realize that you know your journey of even you getting to the top of a mountain, it's not that easy. Yeah, okay, so even for myself, even going through the 13 kilometers, there's a certain point where you're like, yo, my legs can't go anymore. But but the moment you get to that point, how do you position your mind? you know how do you position yourself? Are you going to tell yourself, Mina, I'm gonna go back, or I'm not gonna continue this hiking trail, or I want someone to carry me? What is your mindset throughout that whole process? How is your yeah? How What is your mindset throughout that whole process? That is literally how the journey of life is. If you're gonna decide, Ruth, Mina, I'm not fit for this. I'm not gonna do this again. That positions you as a person that this is how you approach life,
Yeah.
right? Um, so okay, let me not go too deep in it. So that's what encouraged me, or that's what motivated me in creating a bigger experience of understanding consciously for people, to say this is how you can look at life as an adventurous journey to self-discovery. Let me write a book for people under Divine Escape, which is a company that I founded, an adventurous company to bring people into the essence of self discovery through the creation of God, nature.
Mm.
And yeah, so that book is really amazing, and it is really still available. The launch was amazing. I got to explain what the whole book was about, how it came about, how literally I was woken up by, you know, the spirit of God. I believe, for myself, at 3 a.m. to start such an initiative.
Mm.
And yeah, at this point, for me, I am seeing it as a tool that will enable people to understand who they are in God
Mm.
in a different way, in a very, for me, I can say in an innovative way, I think. I don't know.
Mm. Mm.
But the way that I have positioned it can guarantee people to understand how one can get to understand themselves, how one can get to be aware of who they are
Mm.
in literally any situation of their lives, and how they can um, live a fulfilled and consistent life just by following those patterns in every area of their life.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, Highly on that, I've also saw that you are not only pushing your book, but you're also now a semi-finalist on a competition. Tell us a bit more about that. I saw that you're very excited about it, and it has been going very
Yeah.
good.
Right. So yeah. So this platform, it came to me so suddenly. But you know what? With God, everything is very intentional, and I think I see it now. I didn't see it then, but I think bit by bit, it's just
Mhm.
So I was nominated into the platform. So Supreme Queen Global Earth Africa
Mm,
is a women empowerment type of a leadership platform, right,
mm,
for women to utilize the platform for global impact. So I come in as a personal brand, I come in as a business, Divine Escape,
mm,
and I come into the platform to say, this is who I am. This is an initiative that I am running. This is my brand. This is what I'm all about. This is what this is how I want to create a global change. And how can I do that?
mm,
So the platform gives you an opportunity for you to grow within the journey in terms of personal development and personal growth, to understand yourself, right?
mm.
And to understand how you can position your brand and your business for a global impact
Wow.
utilizing this platform, right? So in essence, that is what the platform is, and that's what it has been doing for me. It's not a very easy journey because there are a lot of expectations to it. There
Mm,
are a lot of business agreements to the whole platform as well,
mm,
whereby you need to reach a certain amount of KPIs, in order for you to move to the next stage.
mm,
It's not easy. It keeps you always, pushing for more on how can I impact change.
mm,
How
mm,
can I push myself further? How can I bring change into my society?
mm.
So yeah, that's exactly what the platform is. And yeah, I'm really, I'm enjoying it also, as pressing as it is.
Yeah. Wow. It's good to hear a lot of things you're doing. Inspirational a lot. Maybe for people who would like to follow you, or maybe people who would love to support you, especially in the competition, how they can get a hold of you and how can they go about voting for you.
Yes. Okay. So everything for me is on my Instagram, which is at okay. It's do_miso. I also have a website. It's www.journeywithmiso.com. But in terms of like voting, on my Instagram, just go on the links. Yeah, you'll see the Imperial votes. Yes, that's, yeah, Supreme Queen. That's the voting channel.
Mm,
And then yeah, that's where you can support my initiatives. Also, links take you to my website as well. The website, you can get a free guide. I actually really do appreciate people who get the free guide from from my website, because it means that yeah, there's just more people getting to read more things about what I'm
yeah.
doing. And also purchase the book on my website, www.journeywithmiso.com. That's where you can also purchase my adventure journal.
No, thank you so much for making time for us and the listeners of the Empowerment Podcast. It's been a pleasure. It's always a pleasure, in fact, having you. Maybe send through the links to me on WhatsApp so that I could put them on the description below to make it easy for our listeners to get them. And if you've watched the video till this moment, you're truly enjoying this episode, so definitely give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, we'd appreciate a subscribe. And go ahead, man. Open a community in the comment section. Let's have a conversation. Let's go on, having this conversation even further. If you even have a suggestion of who you'd like me to have next, since it is Youth Month, I'd appreciate if you could tag that person or maybe just reach out to me and let me know who's that person. We'll do screen them because I make sure who I put on the platform before taking them and putting them here on this platform because I respect you and I respect what we share here. So thank you once again, Nondumiso, for making time, and I hope we see you sooner than 4 months,
I
and,
hope so too.
and get an opportunity to have a conversation um, around a lot of topics. There are many topics that we can cover. Um, yeah, just want to say thank you and thank you to our listeners.
Thank you.